ice on there.
All right, very good.
We are live.
And people said we couldn't do it.
No, we've made it.
We've made it.
So, folks, bear with us. We
You
are.
put me on the spot.
Yeah, let's go. We're ready.
Come on. So,
Okay.
have a seat.
Thank you.
Put your headphones on there, and we will get rolling.
You put me on the spot with that movie, and I'm like,
I know.
You couldn't remember the name
What's
of it.
that? I'm Kim.
Hey, Kim. I'm Dan.
Dan?
Todd.
Todd?
Good to meet
Dan, Todd,
Ryan.
Ryan. Okay.
Nice to meet you.
All right, Ryan.
All right, Kim. We are live here on YouTube.
Dan,
and
Tad.
we're recording.
We'll do it live.
We're recording for our podcast. We're called Will You Be My Neighbor? We've been doing this for about a year. Have a lot of fun with it. And
And what's your neighborhood?
it's Rivertown, just across the river in St. Johns County. Are you local?
No, I'm from Orlando, Florida.
Okay.
Okay, that's kind of local.
Well, at least you're
Right.
Floridian.
Floridian, well, since the late 80s. Yeah.
Kim, do you mind telling us your last name? Or
Dawson,
you
D-A-W-S-O-N.
So it's Kim, not Ken.
No, it's K-I-M, a boy
K.I.M.
named
Dawson.
Sue, right?
All right.
But
Very good.
I have a good story about it because you got to put Cameron in front of that because I go by Cameron Kim now because about 10 years ago, I was raising money for some faith-based films. I get a call from one of the investors who had already signed up, and he says, you know, and cussed me
Yeah.
out
Yeah.
like a string of expletives. I'm going, what's the matter? And he goes, Kim Dawson, just Google Kim Dawson.
Oh, no.
Well, I did, and there's a porn star
Oh.
by the same name, right?
And that's not you.
Not you, though. Huh?
She's a producer, director, and star.
Oh.
So she outranks me. In
So you
that.
don't star. You're just the producer and
I
director.
seldom get in front of the camera, but I do like to promote stuff. So yeah.
So you and Rob have a good relationship, right?
Well, we go back to the early '90s when he did the second film. He did the
Well, let's
His-
back up because we've been hustle bustle.
We
didn't
didn't even
introduce
yeah,
yourself.
say
We see
what-
your shirt, but Kim, what is your role in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles franchise?
well, I produced the first 3 films
Fantastic.
with Golden Harvest, which was the production company out of China.
Okay.
That was the production company that worked with Mirage Studios, who owned the underlying rights. But I had optioned those rights with my partner Gary Proper, a Floridian. Gary was from Cocoa Beach
Okay.
and was in the entertainment business after he was a surfer, champion surfer from the East Coast and the West Coast, and was professional back in the 60s. Right. Then he managed. He was a big promoter in Florida.
Okay.
Worked with AEG. Well, first with
Oh, yeah.
Phantasma,
Okay.
and then later with AEG and all that. And then he started managing comedians, and I was working at Showtime back in the 80s.
Oh, wow. Neat.
And when he was managing Gallagher, the comedian,
Yep.
Yeah. The guy who
This is a
smashed
watermelon.
everything.
correct, right? And Gallagher turned out to be a blessing and a curse ultimately
Oh, okay.
because I did 12 specials with him at Showtime, and then after I left Showtime, just produced specials with Gary. But Gary was always on the road looking for comics, and whenever there was a comic, he had stacks and stacks of comics in his garage
Okay.
of different places where he'd been, and things from Kitchen Sink and places, brands you'd never heard of before.
Okay.
Dark Horse and stuff, not DC and Archie comics
Yeah.
and that stuff, but he was in Detroit with Gallagher doing a show when he found Midnight Comics right down the road from the Fox Theater,
Got a store, a comic
the
store?
comic book
Okay,
store,
all right.
and it was open late at night. He went there after the show and he found the Turtles, the first issue of the Turtles,
Okay.
and it had made it from Massachusetts to Michigan, right?
Okay.
So he
Limited distribution.
he sent it to me overnight. Literally, he was so excited. And when I got it the next day, I finally understood, because the day before I thought he'd been smoking way too much. right?
Yeah.
He was like so on fire about it. And I'm like, Gary, slow down. I can't imagine Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. I'd never heard the expression
Sure.
before, but when I saw it, I understood. And then he goes, we put comedian voices in those costumes. They don't have to be there. We'll get stunt guys to do that.
Okay.
But the boys, that's to say Peter and Kevin, maintain control over, well, more or less the script, but also over the costuming. And they were the ones who really finally convinced Jim Henson to do the costumes, which I think made all the difference in the world.
Yeah. Sure.
Henson's touch on those,
Oh, absolutely.
and his son Brian, who really was he ran the creature shop where they got
Okay.
made and did all the testing of them, made sure the actors could jump in the suits and do the flips and the necessary second unit fighting that made that film so authentic.
Yeah.
Right. I had great respect for Jim. I shared an office with him, and
Did you really?
Wow.
So I'm sure our listening audience knows, but Jim Henson, creator of the Muppets, is his fame. So just for anybody, we do have some young listeners that may not be aware of that.
Right. Well, in 1989, he was working. He had licensed Muppets to Disney MGM Studios, and I was producing the Mickey Mouse Club for Disney. Right. And we shared a bungalow along with George Lucas, who was doing Star Wars ride. It was the most amazing. I mean, I was
Wow.
like time out of mind. It was oh, really? And Jim, from the first day I saw him, saw the poster that I'd had in my office since I got to Orlando, which was from Toy Fair. And it's the toy from '88 that nobody had seen yet because it hadn't made the streets. But when we finally it did start taking off, and we finally got New Line interested in making the movie. Then it became a reality.
Very good. So Kim, most people are intimidated when they first meet us, but since you've rubbed elbows with the likes of George Lucas and Jim Henson, you're cool as a cucumber around these celebrities. Right?
Well, Dan, you're very welcoming. What can I tell you?
Well,
that
thanks.
smile will engage anybody.
So we had cut you off earlier. I had when you were about to tell how you and Rob go back to the first Turtle movie.
Well,
right?
it was actually the
second
second
one,
movie
right?
that he
Okay.
became part of the fabric of that film in a way that is, like from forever. We're celebrating 34 years on the first film and 33 on the second right now.
Wow.
And those movies stayed in the box office longer than anybody, certainly than the critics expected, but well beyond what most experts in the business expected as well. So yeah, they performed really well, and that soundtrack that that I gave him earlier has stood the test of time.
Yeah.
You can dial up almost, and these shows are witness to it. I mean,
For
for
sure.
heaven's sakes.
Did he do the whole soundtrack for the second movie?
No, he did. He specialized. He did like 2 songs in it.
Okay.
But the Ninja Rap
Ninja Rap.
obviously is the one that
Go
made.
Ninja, go Ninja, go.
Yeah.
It sounds just like that.
Exactly. That was not.
Are you getting up there?
nice
You're going to sing
doing
that?
Yeah.
You're going to sing
But
that?
They asked me.
I had the distinct pleasure in the late '90s. We had a tornado that blew through Orlando, and the people who were managing Backstreet and NSYNC, Transcontinental.
Oh yeah, that was kind of based out of Orlando, right?
Right, it was. And they decided with John Valentino from AEG Phantasma to do a concert at the old Hard Rock grounds in their big parking lot there. It could hold 10,000 people.
Okay.
And that's what they attracted. We had Backstreet, NSYNC, Los Lobos,
Yeah.
and another group, and one of a couple of his other natural Lou Pearlman's bands. But Rob was there too.
Okay.
And I remember he was sitting on the stacks, and I had my 7-year-old daughter there because I had duty that day, and I took her. She was a natural born performer. She wanted to be everywhere, right? So I put her on the stacks, and Rob sat down right next to her, and she, of course, recognized him immediately and started going Ninja Go, and they started dancing this whole thing. And the last time I saw him a few years ago in Cocoa Beach, I brought the DVD and showed it to him. It was a classic.
Very good.
Awesome.
So we've had a blast.
I'm going to move this a little closer to you because we've got Tone Loc's sound check in the background
right.
there, so
Okay.
don't want you to be drowned out by that. But, before we were on air here, you presented that vintage copy of that soundtrack to Rob. That was a
Yeah.
special moment, huh?
I've had it on my shelf for a long time. I don't have a record player, and while I have a lot of Turtle merch, I've mostly given it away
Sure.
because my wife is on this mission of get rid of at least 5 things a day.
Downsizing.
And, she says we're not leaving this to the kids to have to do. We're going to do it ourselves, right? Get rid of this stuff. But it was holding a special place. But I knew when I had a chance to see Rob again that he would enjoy it. He would appreciate it.
Fantastic.
And whether it gets on display someplace, when I guess he's got some amazing properties around.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, he shared a little bit about that with us.
So there's a lot of '90s stuff starting to make its way back and doing remakes and all that. Do you
Yeah.
see that happening with the Ninja Turtles?
Yeah, I think that Steve Barron, who directed the picture, and Brian, I've talked to about the possibility of rebooting that first film because they didn't get to finish it the way they wanted. They, had there been a couple $1 million more, but that's always the if come.
Sure.
But the truth is that it stood the test of time, and I think Brian rather would really appreciate the opportunity to apply today's technology and all of that to the costume making, and then let that stand in addition to what Steve saw as, I think the fighting could be even more intense. The drama would be not as comical.
Yeah, I can only imagine what the Turtles would look
still
like and with today's movie effects and everything.
Well, I mean, you see it a little bit in what they did in the last month from last summer, but at the same time, live action turtles and in costumes, what Brian specializes in, puppetry, right? And the fact, I love to tell the story about the inventions that they made particularly the second film, because they had what are known as Waldos, which are remote control gloves. So the same thing as a joystick, but rather than a joystick, 5-fingered gloves that were all operating different functions, different elements of the suits.
How about that? That was advanced technology back then.
Well, that comes from a science fiction book by Robert Heinlein, who was written in the 1950s. And Jim and I had that in common. We were both, I loved him. And when I heard that he was doing these Waldos, I said, that's from Heinlein. He goes, yeah, of course.
Okay.
I go, who? What? Really? Don't very often meet people who know Heinlein.
Yeah. So there's an exclusive club there.
Well, but those Waldos were the kick at, and now I presume it's sort of like what happens with the RF or the
virtual reality.
Both virtual reality and also flying drones and stuff. You use this controller that's a hand gesture, but it's using the gyro of right. So
and that was a long time ago. That was
early
before,
90s.
Yeah,
right, early 90s. So and to be able to use it online it had to have been in development for a while. So, but radio frequencies on the first Turtle film were a problem because we shot the studios where De Laurentiis Studios, which is where we shot the first two films, were right in the flight pattern of the Wilmington Airport. Wilmington, Delaware is not that busy, but probably a plane every 2 or 3 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Right. And whenever those planes went over, they interfered with the walkie-talkie.
Okay.
And on all the RF signals on the wireless mics and stuff, and the everything was messed up.
Oh goodness!
I mean, there was no air conditioning on those stages.
Oh boy!
But the truth is that I think probably there's more feeling from that show between the actors who acted in it and the writers and what Steve did, and the kind of the summer from hell, which was they had a blast. They got together as a family and they pulled through because the costumes kept breaking. It was 105 degrees out. This is in the first part of July in '89, I think, and it was miserably hot. And on the stage, it was another 15 degrees hotter because it was all in catchment. They didn't have air conditioning; they had heat exchangers. Okay. So what?
And then in those costumes, it's even hotter. Yeah.
In the costumes, it had to have been. And the original Talking Turtles had a water system pumping cold water through the
system.
It kind of broke.
No.
And when it did, it kind of sprayed water on some of the other electronics under the back.
Goodness.
There were something like 70 motors under the thing.
Wow.
They were heavy.
Yeah.
Right. But
you persevered through all
somehow
that.
Steve managed to be patient through it all and managed to get stuff shot that was, maybe not as planned. But Murphy showed up again and again and again.
Yes, indeed.
But he did from the very beginning. We were not a week away from going into full-blown prep, 6 weeks out from the start of the principal photography, when 20th Century Fox phoned and said, we're not going to distribute the film.
Oh my.
This was a guy named Barry Diller took over 20th Century Fox. Barry Diller started hotels.com,
Yeah.
Other online stuff. He was a visionary, but he didn't envision the Turtles as part of the 20th Century Fox slate of films, and he axed the film because Tom Gray, who ran Golden Harvest US, had set it up. It was ready to go, and they were going to distribute it. And had that happened, it would have been a totally different film, and the history would be different. But instead, they said, screw you, you're out. So we went back to New Line, and New Line said, we'll only do P&A as long as you pay for the film. And that's, Raymond Chow, who owned Golden Harvest, agreed to do that.
Okay.
But by that time, Mark Friedman, I got to give out a shot to Mark, because Mark started a company called Surge Licensing, which signed a licensing deal with Kevin and Peter from Mirage to represent them in the licensing world, and brought them, by the time the movie came out, the first film came out, they had 700 licenses.
Wow.
700
So
plus
ready to
licenses.
hit the market.
Well, the toys had been out for almost a year,
Okay.
when maybe 9 months, and they had gone boffo. The first 5 episodes of the cartoon series that the toy company commissioned from Murakami and Wolf, who were the top animators at the time in Hollywood, they did better work. They were more expensive, but it was a Golden West Broadcasting who broadcast those first episodes, had a deal with them, and the toy company was willing to pay up. They made 5 episodes. They kept repeating them between Christmas and about mid-February, when the Toy Fair started.
Okay.
When Toy Fair started in New York, there was a buzz.
Priming
Something
the
about
pump.
these.
Yeah.
And the first thing that happened was Toy Fair was opening. One of the covers blew off a street in the street. Smoke comes out, and the Turtles appear with pizza in hand.
Oh,
right?
man.
Delivering pizza to the world, right?
Awesome.
So that's how Toy Fair launched. That's how Playmates launched the Turtles at Toy Fair, and it was the hit of the show. And by June, it was flying off the shelves. That's when it first hit the shelves, when school was out in '88. And between that and the time we started, about a year later, there was so much buzz about it that the studios really didn't know. When we finished the film, they had ordered 1,200 prints, thinking they'll do 1,200 screens. This is when they still had prints, big cans of film.
Yep, the can. Yep,
And,
got it in the can.
We had a screening in December of '89, right before it released in March of 1990. But in December of '89, we had a screening in Las Vegas for an audience of about 270 kids, right? And it went boffo. It got 96s, 97s, in almost every category.
Off the chart number.
And Mitch Goldman, who was the head of marketing for New Line, I remember walking across the lobby and being on the payphone, and he was calling the lab in London, the Fuji lab in London,
Get those
doubling
numbers
the
up.
order.
Okay. How many screens did you hit?
2,500.
2,500.
Did 25 million that opening weekend.
Wow.
Which was unheard of.
Absolutely.
And it was only beat out one other film, which had been the first film the week before, also panned by critics.
Okay.
Pretty Woman. And Masters of the Universe had opened first part of the March, and it tanked, and everybody was going, and our camp was going, we're dead. We're dead. And then Pretty Woman came out. Everybody thought, the critics said it's horrible.
You can't compete with Julia Roberts.
You couldn't. But we went one and two for 11 weeks in a row.
Excellent.
It was the coolest thing.
Yeah.
And Jeffrey Katzenberg put this campaign together of advertising Pretty Woman. If you can't see Turtles, come see Pretty Woman. We did the same.
That's cool.
So we went in the LA Times. We did this counterpunch.
That's awesome.
And the irony of it is that the very first person I pitched this story to, because I was working at the Disney Channel, when I finally got the rights assembled and all that, I was doing the Mouse Club. But I had a non-compete in certain things, but I could still gather IP, which I did with Gary.
Okay.
And my first pitch was through Patrick Davidson to Jeffrey. about the turtles. And he laughed and he goes, dude, you don't understand. We just went through the debacle that George Lucas had with Howard the Duck. They did Garbage Pail Kids, and that failed. No live action comics from characters in comic books. Forget about it. Superman and Batman, they'll continue to do. Disney's going to do what it does. It's the Turtles is a non-starter.
Yeah.
Right. Peter Chernin the same way. Right. Everybody said no. Jerry Weintraub, who did all the ninja, Three Ninjas and all of that, all said no. Everybody said no. It was only Tom Gray finally who said yes.
Only takes one.
Because,
one believer.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And he knew that he could do it for a price. And the only thing that drove the price up was the fact that Jim Henson got involved and wanted to be on the East Coast, and we shot it in Wilmington rather than Hong Kong. Because if it had been in Hong Kong, then it would have been a totally different movie too.
Yeah.
But Jim didn't want to go there. He was L.A. New York and Orlando, and sometimes London. But with Brian in London, he felt comfortable that they were going to do it.
Well,
Cool.
Kim, we appreciate your time. We don't want to keep
one
you
more
all day.
one more question.
He doesn't
for
know
you.
what a Muppet is.
So my favorite Ninja Turtle was Michelangelo, which you're wearing.
Right. That's true.
Do you have a favorite?
Well, Michelangelo, in honor of Gary Proper, because they were one and the same. Gary was a party animal. He was like, but in a weird way, he never showed up. Well, he might a little bit, but he never really participated in almost any thing. But he loved pizza, and he had this smile on his face always. That despite his kind of recluse behavior, he was that guy. He personified joy. He just found it. And when he first told me about the Turtles, it was that way. He was like so excited. He was a little kid. And Gary was always ahead of the curve with he understood trends. He read magazines from Europe and all over the world, and he just saw things differently. So, if I had to, thank anybody at the end of the day for 35 years of true joy, it'd be Gary, because if it hadn't been for him, I'd never it had gone on, and I'd have been one of the people standing in line to buy the toys.
Wow.
But,
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Well, we have been very fortunate to catch Kim Dawson as our special guest today. We didn't even know you other than a chance meeting earlier, and glad to have you. So that's Kim Dawson. If you're going to Google him, throw in a Cameron there too, or else you might be a little surprised.
It depends on what you're looking for.
Yeah, if you're looking on your work computer.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, Kim, thanks a bunch, man.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Very
Hey,
cool.
you heard it here first. Could be a
I am the oldest
TMNT
today that you've got.
reboot.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's taking the oldest crown, I guess.
Yeah,
Uh,
by a long shot.
Yeah. Thanks so much.
Thank you,
Kim.
man.
We
Appreciate
your
it.
time. Yep.
I can airdrop this to somebody ASAP.
All right.
I was noticing y'all wasn't getting video, so
Oh, we
I'm
appreciate
a media
that.
guy.
man.
So
Okay.
Appreciate that.
I'm trying
Okay.
to
Yeah.
fill in what I can.
So
Airdrop.
I'm on for airdrop. I'm not sure if it's.
You have to do everybody for like 10
Yeah.
minutes.
Yeah. You bet. So let me do that. The general.
Man, this was so inspirational, and the fact that you pointed out the soundtrack, man. And I'm working on my
Yeah.
soundtrack for my first project.
Oh yeah. Excellent.
Doing it live. What are we doing? Just the beginning?
It's the beginning. Start of it all. I'm gonna mute all our mics in case so we don't catch that guy.
We are on the road across the river in Clay County, and we have a fantastic show for you tonight. I can promise you some special guests coming up. So we're at the Clay County Agricultural Fair. You guys excited?
Oh, yeah.
Nice day.
I think we're going to have a we guest.
I think
today.
so. I think so. The fact that it's already out there on YouTube, we don't need to be coy. We got Vanilla Ice as a guest tonight. We also have a special surprise, a gentleman named Kim Dawson, who will tell you why he is an important part of the Teenage
What do you think about
Ninja
Tone Loc?
Turtle
Tone Loc going to get
franchise.
on?
And we are anticipating we'll have Tone Loc on here shortly as well. So it's a beautiful day. You guys mentioned it. I've been fired up.
If only I had a
about
beer.
this. Yeah,
We haven't even seen the fair.
I know.
we have not.
We've been backstage the whole time.
I told Ryan, I said I had a few, the last couple of days, I had a few too many drinks. And I said, I don't think I need one.
So this is
like
detox-
2 hours
detox
later, I'm like,
day
I
for
think I
you.
need one.
Well, hey, let's start tonight with a very hearty thank you to Tasha Hyder, Executive Director of the Clay County
Hyder?
Agricultural Fair. It is Hyder. She's been gracious. She got us out here.
Sweet hookup.
Helped get us set up here, and we've just been having a ball. We've been out here for a few hours now, getting set up and recording other parts of our show that we'll cobble together for the full show. But it's just been a fantastic
Weather's been
day.
fantastic.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
great.
And the lovely and talented Beth Davis doing whatever she needs to do to assist us
Videographer.
tonight. Thank
And,
you, Beth.
also known as,
yeah.
I saw her in Tone Loc pretty.
Yeah,
snuggled up a little
Where'd she
earlier.
go? Is she back
What
in
was
the
that?
trailer?
I got eyes on her, fellas. You're not going to pull that one. So, but we did get to meet and get a picture with Tone a little bit earlier, and she told him, "I just want to tell you that I partied to your music a lot in the '90s," and she's not kidding. She did, and he immediately said, "Well, why is this pretty lady not in the picture?" And swooped her in, and they even did a prom style picture. So, with her permission, I might post that on our Facebook page.
She was all
one of these
alone.
days. So,
He said,
Tone, let me tell you one thing.
and then Beth said, I need $50
Nah,
to make you choose
no.
that.
She did the wild thing.
Yeah. So we're having a great time here.
Well, this is,
And, a little bit later, we'll have a Clay County quiz. See how Ryan and Todd are able to do on their knowledge of Clay County.
I don't know if we'll have enough time.
We can work
I'm gonna
through it.
go
We can
see.
work through it.
I'm gonna go watch
we'll
Tone Loc
definitely
and
be in
Vanilla
there.
Ice.
We'll be in there for that. So I'm anticipating we'll wrap up at quarter till or so.
Quarter to midnight.
Yep. So, but hey, good time. I am looking forward to getting out on the midway of the fair and seeing the rides, having some of the food. What food?
I don't
would
know
you guys
when we're
most
going
like
to do that.
Yeah, we haven't seen
We're
that.
going to
But
be here more than today.
I'd like a corn dog.
Yeah, I'd like.
I saw Rob had a
funnel cake.
Funnel cake. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was his request. So
Oh, was it?
and he requested a funnel cake.
How come
and,
we can't do that?
You know,
I need a funnel cake over
Chuck
here.
went and got him a funnel cake.
Really?
Came back with the funnel cake. I was like, "Where's my funnel cake?"
And he-
I guess
Word
you
came
got to
up.
be a rapper to get a funnel cake.
Yeah. Well, hey, while you mentioned Chuck, let's thank Chuck Kwan, the road manager
Yes.
for Rob Van Winkle. He made sure we got some time with Rob, Vanilla Ice, and we're appreciative of that. So everybody's been very friendly here. It is a beehive of activity, a lot of things going on, and as you'd expect with a
And we haven't got
volunteer-
stopped by the cops once.
Yeah,
I
volunteer-led group.
wondered what
We've
I might have just jinxed it, but
Yeah. Well, I'm connected. Trust
you're
me.
the only one with your
Trust me.
credentials on now.
Oh, my
Todd
goodness,
took his
I'm the
off.
only one with the
I gave mine away.
yeah, you bequeathed yours to
I was
Vanilla
told
Ice.
to wear 'em. I
He
was
needed
told
it.
to wear them there in the VIP.
Hopefully,
Let's
Ice
kick
wears
it
it
second.
tonight up on
Something,
stage.
so.
I hope that how epic would that be?
It's highly unlikely.
Highly unlikely, but it would make for a great.
What a cool dude too.
He is.
So,
Yes.
I mean, very friendly.
So
So-
if you want to stay tuned for that interview,
Yeah,
Absolutely.
super
For
nice guy.
So Ryan, part of
I can't wait to interview Tone.
That's his voice.
we are live right now, right?
Yes, we are. We are live.
6:22. If you're not on your way here, get on your way here. here's some things you have to look forward to the rest of the night on the fair schedule. 6:45, right over our right shoulder, Pirate Man Dan will be performing. And,
Not to be mixed up with Butt Pirate Dan.
no, not at all.
That's
Not
a
at
different
all.
guy.
That's right. 7 o'clock, of course, the highlight, Vanilla Ice with Tone Loc in the Grand Amphitheater there. There's also a couple other options. If you can't get a spot in the concert, Abracadabra is happening at 7. Also, Louie's Comedy Circus at
6:45. Dan the Pirate Man.
WWE.
So is that like an agricultural magic show?
No, those
They make
are two
cows
separate
disappear?
things. Well, maybe it is. I don't know.
And then they give hamburgers out.
7:30, Circus Incredible. There's a circus event right over here on our shoulder. 7:45, the Wow Factor Science Show. 8 o'clock, the Florida Ag Experience. Certainly that stands for agriculture. Oh, man, 8:15. We'll be in the show.
We'll be
but
in.
I'm going to
show.
be disappointed.
Didn't he ask us to be backup dancers?
Well, I think he wants me up on the drums a little bit.
You know what we're going to miss at 8:15? Rosaire's Royal Pig Racers.
Oh, man.
Oh.
Oh.
How
Is
about
that where you
that?
get to
I think they've
what's
happened.
what's the thing where you get
the Kentucky
to wrestle a pig? Try to catch a pig.
Greased pig
Yeah.
contest.
We should see if we can get in.
You done any of those?
Hey.
Dan?
No, I have not. I've been the pig, but never the.
Were you greased?
Yep.
That's deliverance, isn't it?
8:30. He'll be the skinny German juggle boy, and then at 9 o'clock tonight.
Do you think he's from? Is that one of the German guys?
Oh my
who
goodness!
caused the
If it
international
is, I
incident?
got to get out.
Oh,
of here.
no.
Stat. 9 o'clock. Disconnected K9's world famous frisbee dog.
Oh, those guys are right over here. They have their own trailer. Did you see that?
Did they? I'm not
They had their
surprised.
as we pulled in. There was a dog trailer.
Oh, how about
So
that?
they got their own
Well, who
little
doesn't
trailer.
love a good frisbee dog, right?
Was it okay, cool? Okay, cool guy. What was it? What I can't remember it.
Okay, cool, man.
Okay, cool,
buddy.
man. Buddy,
Cool,
Hey,
buddy. Buddy. Was buddy.
Then
I don't remember anything from our podcast.
a lot of these are repeated on different days. So I'm just scrolling through here. The Royal Pig Racers, Agracadabra, the Frisbee Dogs, Pirate Man Dan, the Wow Factor Science Show.
You got,
So,
how many? You
you
got
read
how
all
many?
these
How many
once.
shows you got tonight?
man, I'm a busy man. So yeah, most of these things that are happening at the same time as the concert, you can catch on other days of the fair. So come on out. You can get all the information you
Does
need.
it say where you can get a funnel cake?
The Midway, I think.
Otherwise,
we
I
need
just
to go
to
get,
ask Chuck.
and probably not today, but we need to go out, get food, everybody get what they like, and then we'll all, or no, we all get the three of the same thing.
Yeah.
And we have like
Taste
a little,
test it.
a little taste test.
Yeah. So all this information that we're sharing with you, you can get yourself at claycountyfair.org. claycountyfair.org. And, this will be going on through April 14th. A lot of fun stuff. So still several days to go when you hear this episode published, if you're not listening to us live right now. So we're excited about that. All right. I promised you guys a Clay County quiz.
Oh, is it that time?
I think it can be. Now, I had packed pins for each of you.
Pins or
Pins
pens?
or pens?
Pins.
Pins? Pens?
Beth,
Pens?
would you mind terribly looking in our main box? There should be a couple more pins in there.
Pens with an E.
All right, we'll get started on that. I even made you guys your own
I'm glad we got an assistant.
sheet.
Yeah, really.
Is she on the is she on the payroll?
She is. She needs $50 to
Oh wow!
fetch my stuff. She gets paid to do
I thought
the
that, so. There's
thing.
25 potential points.
Just one more. I need one too, actually. Sorry. 20, 26, 28 potential points.
Okay.
So this is a Clay County.
Is this multiple choice?
There are multiple choice. There are
Fill in the blank. I don't like.
no, there's no fill in the blank.
All right.
It's gonna be fun. Todd's Googling already. Too late, man.
I'm ready.
Very much.
Is this multiple choice?
All right, 10 questions. Some with multiple points, and I'm going to keep score.
Who wrote my name on here?
That's me.
Todd?
I know.
Can't you tell by the handwriting?
My penmanship is poor.
Make sure you get close to the microphone. No
yeah,
fiddle.
no
with it.
fiddle with it.
All right, here we go. This one is multiple choice, so let me
All
read
right.
all four options.
Hey, be on the lookout
Answers
for
always
Tone.
C.
And
I got my eyes open.
We will stop as soon as Tone comes.
Our assistant can.
No.
I'm sure she knows where he is.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. They're both gone.
How did Clay County get named? A, changed from the original Springs County in March 1961 to honor the 1960 Olympic gold medal in boxing
That's a long.
from native son Cassius Clay?
Also known as Muhammad
That
Ali.
was just the answer for it.
B, designated a county in 1888 after a donation of 247,000 acres of land by wealthy industrialist Zephaniah Kingsley Clay.
Is
C,
this how all the multiple choice are going to go?
no,
Like
this
a
is the only,
paragraph?
this is the only multiple choice. This is the longest one. C, broken off from Duval County in 1858 and named for former U.S. Secretary of State Henry Clay. Or D, created during the 1911 Florida Senate to honor abundant natural resources in the state, along with Orange, Lake, and Citrus counties. Write your answers down, A, B, C, or D. A, native son Cassius Clay. B, land donation by Zephaniah Kingsley Clay. C, former Secretary of State Henry Clay. D, natural resource.
See, I think
Clay.
you should have just done that the first time.
But I had to give you
It's your
context.
trivia.
All right.
I'm sorry,
Exactly.
I'm being judgmental.
How about number 2?
Exactly.
Yeah, let's go
Number 2. According to the 2022 census, what is the population of Clay County? I'm willing to give you a plus or minus 5% tolerance.
The population.
what year?
of Clay
Population of
County?
Clay
What
County
year was the
according
census?
to the most recent
2022?
census in 2022. All right.
Only plus or minus 1,000?
That's
Plus or
the
minus
count, the
5%.
county, right?
Plus or minus 5%. I didn't say 1,000. Okay. Number 3. This is a chance to get multiple points. How many public high schools are in Clay County with over 500 students enrolled?
Okay, so we're not talking about the little guys.
There are some charter and stuff like this. So these are public high schools with over 500 students each.
How's that? How's
In
this
Clay
is
County.
multiple? How can we get multiple points?
Well,
I've already answered.
You answer and then you name as many as you can.
Oh.
So write down as many as you can.
I don't know one.
Give you a second there. You don't know any?
In
Okay, well,
a Clay County school?
Clay County High School.
Yeah, I don't know
You
one.
drove past one on the way here.
I saw it. It had a. I don't know it.
Apologies to the Clay County residents listening that Todd has no idea where.
Well, I'm not from here.
I know. In fairness, my wife Beth, who is a native of Jacksonville, said that these were tough. So, all right. So tell me when you have finished.
I'm finished.
Ryan, I think you're taking the lead here. Tell me when you're finished.
Jeez.
I'll stop right there. I'm
Okay.
And then what if they're wrong?
you don't
No,
lose
you
points.
You don't lose points.
Yes.
All right. Where did Clay County Sheriff's Office Sheriff Michelle Cook graduate from college? All right. Question number 5. One of those public high schools boasts an alumni base that includes a 7-time Olympic gold medal winner, the person credited as the inventor of the smartphone, and a pitcher from the 2023 World Series champ. Which school is that?
And we got to write this one down, right?
You got to
'Cause
write
that's
this one
not.
down.
You're not going to give us multiple choice that we
No,
can add to our
nope,
other question.
Nope. All right. Question number 6. We'll see, this is moving faster than we thought. Which former president of the United States used to visit the springs at Green Cove Springs and then had spring water shipped to the White House? All right. Ready to move on? Number 7.
Yep.
Which Clay County town was founded by a department store pioneer? Yep.
You ready?
All right, we'll come back to that. We've got Tone Loc.
We got Tone Loc in the house.
Absolutely. Put those on, my friend, and we'll be ready. So, Ryan, you ready to go with our
Did
intro?
you get all situated?
Hey, what's that?
Comfy? Excellent.
All right.
All right.
Here we go.
Thanks for joining us. We got a little intro music. If you don't mind, you'll probably recognize it.
Handle it. Do what you got to do.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Hey, that sounds a little familiar.
Absolutely. We're going to do that in an hour or
Let's do
so,
it.
aren't we?
Let's do it again. Hey.
Excellent. So our esteemed guest here is Tone Loc,
Hey.
Anthony Smith,
Anthony Smith.
but can we call you Tone?
Please do, man. Anthony Smith makes me feel like I'm in trouble. To tell you the truth, man. I'm like, wow.
Well, hey, there's a lot of popo around here, but
Yeah.
I
That's
hope
why
we
I'm
don't hear
like,
you
yeah.
called Anthony Smith.
Hope not, you know.
Hey, we appreciate you being so gracious to us earlier when we first made your introduction. You took pictures with us, took pictures with my wife, and just happy to have you on the show. We're Will You Be My Neighbor is the name of our podcast. We're coming up on our 1-year anniversary, and they're excited to be here.
Hey, well, Thanks for having me. I
Yeah.
appreciate it. Thank you.
You've been
guys very
dying to
much.
be on this podcast, I bet, haven't you? It's just like the highlight of your life, isn't it? Right here.
This is it,
You've
man.
made it.
I haven't prayed for anything more than this, man.
Well,
This is cool.
You're going to be
Answered
going
prayers.
on. You're going to be going on soon, right?
Actually, yeah, that's why I stayed up here. Normally I would have gone back to my room, but
Yeah.
hey, I just stayed up here, made it real comfortable, stayed in the trailer. Now I'm ready to get out.
Excellent.
So there it is there.
I
We're
think you're on
looking
at
forward to the
7,
show.
right? That's coming up.
There it is there.
There it is there.
Tell us what the audience can expect from your show tonight.
Honestly, man, I can expect a lot of old school. You
Yeah.
know, I'm an old school artist, like to involve the crowd, get them involved doing, just having a good time. I'm here to see a lot of smiles.
Very good.
I want to have a good time. So I got to make sure the crowd is having a good time, the bottom line, because if you're not performing well, the crowd is like, get your ass up out of here.
I'm sure that we'll be in for a treat. We'll be up there in the front, smiling and dancing.
Well, I hope so, man. I
Absolutely.
appreciate it. Any little help I can get, I appreciate it.
so the two that pop into my mind, Funky Cole Medina and Wild
Go,
Thing.
hey.
Which of those two is? Can you pick a favorite between those two to perform?
Well, Wild Thing used to be my favorite, and then I think Funky Cole became my favorite.
Really?
In the last few years,
Okay, interesting.
to tell you the truth, because it's it's honestly a little bit more funky. And then when the drummer is playing with it, unlike in the record, it's just a little bit more funky. It's a little slower, but it has a little bit more beat. Wild Thing, you gotta. Hey, I'm 58 years old now. You know what I'm saying? You got to be on your toes and grooving. That song is fast,
She wanted to do that.
but it's cool.
Yep, absolutely. So,
But
does
To
Sheena
that, I
come
must
from
say,
real
I do.
life?
I love them both, though.
Yeah,
I do.
very good.
I really do.
So, does the Sheena incident, is that a real life? Or is that it?
No, it was close, but no, I Young MC and Mike Ross wrote that. I did not have
Okay.
nothing to do with that.
All right.
I had almost seen an incident. I remember I followed this girl. I was like, damn, she had a nice ass. And I followed her to 7-Eleven, and she turned around and looked like a moose. I'm like, oh my God, that was a dude. I was like, oh my, I was so embarrassed. I'm glad nobody saw that crap. I was like, yikes, I'm out of here.
Yeah, you fooling
I did not
around with
follow her
Oscar
on
Mayer
purpose.
Wiener. Are you?
Yeah. So
So Young MC wrote that.
yeah, Young MC wrote that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, him and Mike Ross wrote that.
Yeah, he was busting a move out of there when he
was.
found out
He
Sheena
busted
was
him.
on
I
there.
don't know if he wrote that particular line. I don't know, but they wrote that
Very
song.
good.
So where do you hail from? Where are you?
I'm from Los Angeles.
Okay.
Los Angeles, sunny Cal, West Side.
That's
so
why we had to throw up the
doing it big
That's
time.
right.
So I had
There
to
you
throw
go.
a W. You know what I'm saying? It makes no difference. Well, I bring trouble to. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna throwing up the W.
Were
Yeah,
you there
I'm from
before?
Sunny Cal.
Were you there before you came here?
Yeah.
I mean, really?
Yeah.
That's a long flight.
That's a long flight, but that's why I call it a red eye. So I can sleep big time like a baby. You know what I'm saying? And I woke up and that plane was shaking like, oh, so they just landed. My point. They were landing. So
You've
like
performed at the fair before here, or is this your first?
I did. I didn't recall until I looked. I was like, oh my goodness, yeah. Now I start remembering everything about it. Me and my DJ and my drummer, we had to recall. We didn't know it offhand because we played so many different places.
Right.
But as soon as we got out here and we got a little close, we started recognizing everything. Like, okay,
So how many shows you typically do in a year?
Maybe like 30,
Okay.
40, something like that. Yeah.
almost every week. Almost every week.
Later on in the beginning, because it's so cold,
Right. Yeah.
a lot of people try to, want to stay home, when the snow is jumping. You never know what part of the country you're going to be in. So normally like around springtime, towards the end of the year, it really picks up, especially in the summertime.
What are your thoughts on Florida? Like Florida?
I like Florida.
Okay.
First time I've been out here and it wasn't hot as hell. You know what I'm saying? I'm
It's
not
a nice
sweating.
time to be here.
Yep.
Yes. So that part of it is cool. And I have a son in Ocala, Florida.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just over the
Back
way?
on the MTV tour, you know what I'm saying? Doing the wild thing. My son from Ocala, I love it. Yeah.
Nice.
His name's Anthony Smith.
Oh wow! What do you know?
Yeah.
There you go. Hey Tone, we talked about your two biggest hits, but one of my favorites is Aces in the House.
H is in the house.
How much
with
fun
Crazy
was it
Ass
to work
Jim.
with Jim Carrey on the Pet Detective franchise?
Jim is cool, man. I must say, I can't even put it in words, man, because the dude he was so humble and down to earth.
Yeah.
And knowing, somebody that's like me, unlike me, it was cool. If I tell, hey, I want to go over here and blaze one, go do your thing, Tone. I'll be over here waiting.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Go do whatever. And when somebody's like that, to me, you know, they're cool.
Mhm.
I may need an extra 5 minutes, but isn't that take your time?
Yeah.
And he's just funny, like that scene in the Ace Ventura where he bent over and he started talking with his ass. He just did that. He made it up. You know what I'm saying? And they're like, well, can you do it? He's like, I can't do that again. It's not in the script. He just made it up. He went off the top of his head because he's like that. He's a funny guy. He's cool.
Yeah.
He is a very cool guy.
You know, to show you what kind of father I am, I have 4 kids, and I used to entertain them with the same trick. I got it from Jim Carrey. That was Ace Ventura inspired, but that was some of their favorite bedtime stories. Yeah. So.
That's cool. Fire Marshal Bill.
Yeah.
My man.
Indeed. You've done some work with Disney. You were
Tad
a
bit.
character at Epcot.
Characters and some movies.
And that lead to your work with Disney.
I haven't, you know what? I did do that Epcot thing myself, Sting, and there was a couple of other interns. I'm sorry, it's so long ago. I've forgotten. But because it was so hot out here, I wanted to get the heck out of here. It was hot.
Yeah, very good. Very good.
I even tried to take my son to Disney World a few times. And it was like, man, catch a few rides, I'm like, oh man, it is too hot out here. Let's go.
That's for sure.
So you think it's noticeably hotter in Florida than it is in California?
The humidity factor, I wasn't ready for that. Now, they say dry heat is not as strong, but I'm like, if you go to Phoenix or Las Vegas or something, like, I don't care. Heat is heat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That will tear you up.
Yeah.
So, but the humidity factor, I guess, just sun beaming down and being in line, even though you skip the line and go up the back, it was a little much because that place is big.
Yeah, it is.
And I didn't know it was that big to begin with. You know what I'm saying? Disney World. They mean that. Disney World.
So have you been to Disneyland?
I've been to Disneyland.
So what would you say is the biggest difference between the two, other than size, obviously?
I mean, I haven't been to Disneyland in quite a while, but when I was there, I mean, they had little sissy rides, and stuff like that. Little, the Matterhorn, which was like a little kid's roller coaster type thing. Out here, the rides are a little bit more grown up, a little bit more serious, So I would have to say
So
that.
we're going to LA this summer for a couple of days. Where would you suggest that we must go, can't miss?
Tone's
in LA?
house.
Yeah, there you go.
Come to your house.
That's
Just
it. That's
come on by.
That's what's happening. There you go. Actually, when I was honestly in my 20s and 30s, I could have told you every spot to go.
Oh, so this is with kids. I don't know if that.
Not us.
Yeah, I have children, so I'm stable. I'm just chill, taking it easy.
Yeah.
I don't go out as much. They have worn me out.
When you do go out, Tone, are you recognized everywhere you go, or are you able to enjoy a little normalcy?
If I don't talk.
If you don't talk.
If I don't talk.
Sure.
If I'm quiet a lot of times, what's funny, realistically, and I'm gonna tell you guys something. My audience is more white than black.
Yeah.
But black people recognize me more for some reason. I don't know. But the record, because white people aren't sure if they want to come up to me or not. But once they hear that voice, that's that. They don't care.
Yeah.
That's black or white. They don't care. But the voice is a dead giveaway for anybody. I don't care if they Chinese, Japanese, Vietnamese, whatever.
So
it's the voice thing.
You've had this isn't like a fake voice. It's not like a stage voice. You've had this voice.
I can't get rid of it. I try to shake it. I try to do what I have to do. I cannot get rid of it.
I'd like to hear, Todd likes to do accent. I'd like to hear your Tone accent.
Yeah, let me hear.
Let's do it.
Man, that's weak.
Let's
That's
do
about
it.
as good as all your other
it.
accents.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. You gotta come from the diaphragm.
Let's do it.
That's good. That was a good
That
let's do it.
was-
That was
thanks,
all
Tone.
right.
Hey man, endorsed by Tone.
That was cool.
Speaking of that, we want to get a soundbite from him, right?
Yeah, if we can, you want to hook him up with our name and
Yeah, you
put
bet. So,
let's do it after that.
yeah, so this is the name of our podcast. Will you be my neighbor? So you work that in with a let's do it, and we'll be happy guys.
Hey, let's do it. Will you be my neighbor? Peace.
Awesome. That's
Boom.
Perfect.
Nailed it.
We couldn't have written a better script.
No.
A young MC couldn't have written it better than that.
Hey, couldn't have written it any better.
Yeah,
But
well,
there you go.
Tone, thank you very much for your time. We know you're going on here in less than 20 minutes or so if the time's on
Damn, I'm gonna
track.
go
So,
change clothes.
so we got to get you out of
Okay.
here. But
Okay.
we appreciate it. We'll be out there having fun with you. Thanks for coming to North Florida.
Appreciate you, man.
My
Yeah.
pleasure, man. Peace.
Thanks for
Thank
coming
you
on.
guys very much, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Tone Loc.
Peace.
Awesome, bro. Thank you.
My man.
Thank you. Have a good show.
Thank you.
Good luck. We'll be out there.
Yep.
Hey, you know what day Easter's on next year, right?
The what?
You know what day Easter's on next year?
I have no clue.
April 20th.
One, I'm had to think about that.
That's a holy day.
All right.
All right, guys. I know we want
All
to
right,
get out
we were
there
in
and
the
enjoy the
let's,
show, so
let's
I got
finish up
just
our
a few
quiz
more
here. We
here.
were on number
All right,
7, right?
So we're gonna
Ryan,
start
I'm looking
fresh
at my,
with
so I'm
number
looking at
7.
my
I didn't
answers.
look at all your answers. Why are they all the
All
same
right.
as yours?
Start fresh with number 7, then we'll score them real quick, and this episode will be in the can. So, all right. Number 7, which Clay County town was founded by a department store pioneer and served as a community for retired ministers and was also home of the coroner from Wizard of Oz, who pronounced the Wicked Witch of the East as not only merely dead, but really most sincerely dead? A lot wrapped up in there. We're looking for the name of the town.
I got it.
All right. Number 8, multiple opportunities for points here. Name as many of the 4 counties that Clay County physically abuts. There are 4.
Physically, so
Physically
a river in between them,
abuts.
they don't abut. I mean,
I'm
would
not
that
going to
be a
define
definition?
abut for you. Name 4 that physically abut Clay County. All right. We good?
I got as many as I can get.
Okay. Number 9. What is the name of the fair attraction that bills itself as a unique opportunity to step back in time to see Clay County life in the years past? A step back in time to see Clay County life in the years past. All right. And then number 8 or number 10, our last one, you have a chance for 8 points here
Oh boy.
if you've been paying attention.
Nope.
But,
have not.
We've been back in this area, so you might not know this, but there are 8 blue ribbon sponsors of the fair. Name as many as you can. A blue ribbon sponsor. It's the top level of sponsorship. Ryan's looking around for clues. And even if you get none, we just want to read them off here as we go through the answers so that we do have the opportunity to call them out because they've made a significant contribution to the success of the 2024 Clay County Agricultural Fair. All right. Ready to start scoring?
No.
Still writing?
I'm done.
I don't.
I've
That's done?
lost.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I've lost.
Okay. So number 1, how did Clay County get its name? A, B, C, or D?
C.
See?
Todd said C. Bastards, you're both right.
Yeah, because
Supposed to
the
be
answer was obvious when you read the whole thing.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. I thought maybe D would fool you. All right. What is the population of Clay County? Todd.
57,000.
Okay.
I
Ryan.
did 1.5.
1.5 people, 1.5
Million.
million. All right. You guys are way different and you're both outside the tolerance. The answer is 226,500.
But who was closer? I
It
think I
wasn't
was.
about who was close.
You were closer,
Yeah.
but you were way.
You were outside of the
plus
5%.
Yeah, but at this point,
All right. How many public high schools are in Clay County? With over 500
Ryan.
students?
7.
7 is correct. All right. Did you answer correct?
14.
14. Okay. Name them, Ryan.
I got Middleburg High.
Okay.
I got Clay High.
Mm-hmm.
I got Green Cove High
Nope.
and Fleming High.
Okay. Fleming Island. I'll give it to you. All right. Is that all?
You said Fleming High.
Fleming Island.
yeah.
I just wrote
And
Fleming.
Todd,
I don't have
you
any.
got none. All right. So
I just wrote down cities in
Fleming Island High, Orange Park High, Ridgeview High School,
Orange Park. That's
Middleburg High School, Oakleaf, Clay High School, and then Keystone Heights Junior and Senior High. All right, current score 5 for Ryan, 1 for Todd. All right, where did Michelle Cook, sheriff of Clay County, go to college? Graduate college.
UNF.
UNF.
UNF is correct.
So that was an obvious one too.
All right, which of those 7 public high schools has a 7-time Olympic gold medal swimmer, Caleb Dressel?
I didn't even answer
The
this.
person credited as the inventor of the smartphone, Frank Canova, and a pitcher from the 2023 World Series champion Texas Rangers named Dane Dunning.
I said B.
B is incorrect. And Ryan, you did not answer. It's Clay High School right down the street. Incidentally, also the alma mater of Michelle Cook. Which president used to visit here and had spring water shipped to the White House?
I put Truman.
I said Hoover.
Nope, Grover Cleveland. 6-2, Ryan. Which Clay County town was founded by a department store pioneer and
Palatka.
This not
That's
Palatka.
not in Clay County.
Yeah, that's right. It's not Palatka. Ryan,
I
what'd you
said
put?
Fleming Island.
Nope, it's Penny Farms. J.C. Penney was the
Oh.
department.
Are you
store
sure
founder.
Palatka's not in Clay
J.C.
County?
Penney. All
It's
right.
in one of the counties that
Name
abut
as many of the 4 counties that Clay physically abuts.
Duval and Putnam were the only 2 I could.
Okay.
Duval. I took it. You were being coy about the river, so I'm going to say St. John's.
St. John's is not.
All
It does
right.
not physically abut it.
Marion and Orange County.
No. Duval, Putnam, Bradford, Baker.
I got 2.
All
I
right.
knew
The name of the fair attraction that bills itself as
Oh,
a
I got
unique
this one, I
opportunity
think.
to step back in
Go
time,
for it.
see Clay County life in the years past.
That is called the Old Clay County Ride.
I put the time machine.
Oh, that's pretty good.
The answer is the early Florida Village. All right. Did either of you get any sponsors?
Dailies.
Publix,
No.
Tractor Supply.
Budweiser.
All right. So the winner is Ryan with 8, and Todd had 2. Let me pay proper
I can't believe I had 2.
pay proper respect to the Blue Ribbon sponsors for all that they do. So that is Garber Auto Mall, HCA Florida / Orange Park Hospital, PRI Productions, ViStar Credit Union, Harrell and Harrell, Whole Shot Power Sports, official dealer of the Icon golf cart, which, as you guys know, I drive, the Thrasher Horn Center, and the Williams and Rowe Company. So we appreciate their sponsorship. Allows so many things to happen, including Will You Be My Neighbor to podcast from here. So
And allows us to interview Tone Loc and Vanilla Ice.
absolutely. What a fantastic episode. Thank you for being with us on YouTube Live. Look forward to the full episode as we put it together and publish it next Wednesday, April 10th. The fair goes on through the 14th with musical acts through the 11th. And then
We'll be back out here
tractor
again.
pulls. Yep.
All right.
We'll be coming back out. So we'll keep you apprised of our activities
I'm
there.
try the greased pig.
There you go.
We're going
We
to stand up.
We can practice if you want. Thanks for being with us. Thanks for being patient as we didn't quite hit our start time for the live broadcast.
Well, you know how famous people are.
Yeah,
They don't
exactly.
start.
We're divas.
We'll be lucky if Tone Loc's on there at 7.
Word
Thank-
to your mother.
Thanks again to Tasha Hyder and so many of our guests
Word to your
tonight.
mother.
So
Word to your mother.
Rob Van Winkle, Kim Dawson, and
And Tone
Anthony
Loc.
Smith. Tone Loc.
Anthony
Let's do
Smith
it.
is his son.
All right. That's our show, folks. Thanks for joining us.
It's a beautiful. It's a beautiful.